All right, this is going to be a kind of a short video, but it's going to be talking about some of the important orthographic symbols that we're going to be using for converting from orthographic drawings to isometric and isometric drawings back into orthographic drawings. So what we have here is we have three different pictures, and they're all the same thing, but they're just from different angles. So as you see over here, it says side view of threaded elbow. So it's a threaded joint. Okay, so the threads go inside the elbow, obviously. And we have a threaded elbow. So this is a threaded 90-degree elbow. Okay, this is a side view. So we see the 90, we see the pipe going in, we see this. Okay, and we're going to call these fitting lines from now on. Okay, so it symbolizes a fitting line. So pipe, fitting line, 90, fitting line, pipe. Okay, so we can pretty much see everything in this view, which is a handy thing to have. So this is how we're going to start drawing this. Obviously, this is too much to be able to draw onto an isometric, so we're going to have to use these symbols. Okay, and this is what we're going to be using for a side view of a threaded elbow. So this is going to be our first pipe. Okay. This fitting line right here is going to be right here. Okay. And then the 90 goes up and over and another fitting line. So up, over, and another fitting line. Okay. And then we have another piece of pipe here. I'm just going to join this one back here too. So that is what it's going to look like. Okay, drawn as one orthographic fitting, it's going to look like this. Rule of thumb, these fitting lines that symbolize the 90, the fitting line has to be parallel to the pipe it's joining. So this line here and this line here are parallel. This horizontal fitting line and this horizontal fitting line are parallel, which means essentially that these parallel lines would never touch. And even though my drawing isn't great, if we were to extend this, it would never touch this line here. It would always be parallel. Just going to erase that. Okay, so that's what a side view of a threaded elbow looks like. There's no circles or anything like that because we see everything. But now let's move over to here. So this is a back of a threaded elbow. So we see the back right here. So all we're doing is we're taking this 90 and we're spinning it or rotating it. So this pipe right here, we no longer can see. It's behind this elbow. Okay. This fitting line right here is also back here. We can't quite see it. This fitting line right here, we can see. That's that fitting line right here. So if I was to draw that, it would look like that. Actually, let's go ahead and make that the same color just to keep it the same. So that fitting line right there is the same as this one right here. Okay. So then we have this piece of pipe, which is the same as this one right here. So I'll just go ahead and draw that. Okay. So how we symbolize the back of an elbow on an orthographic drawing is we put the circle that symbolizes the fitting. Okay. And then this line here, it goes roughly halfway through the fitting. Okay. When that line is halfway through, that is always going to symbolize to us the back of an elbow, which means the pipe is going away from us. Depending on which view, it could be any direction. If we see the back of an elbow on a plan view, that would mean the pipe is going down. If we see the back of an elbow on a front or a right side view, that might mean that it's going north, south, east, or west. Okay. But the key here initially is just figuring out what back of threaded elbow means. It just means that there's something going away from us. Okay, so if I was to draw that as one fitting again, just for ease, it would look like this. Okay, so that's what our back of a threaded elbow is going to look like. And then lastly, for the 90s, we have a threaded elbow facing viewer. Okay, so what do we see here? It's just this guy turned again. Okay, so if we were to take this one right here and give it another rotate, we would see the open end of this pipe right here. Okay, Again, this fitting line, we don't see. It's kind of hidden back here. You can see a little bit of it. That's just because I'm not holding it straight. But really, we can't see that. Okay, we see pipe, which is this guy right here. We see this fitting line here, which is this one here. And then we see this pipe again. So let's just go ahead and draw kind of what we see. We see the pipe, okay, which is this pipe right here. And then we see this fitting line, which is this part of the fitting. So I'm going to go ahead and draw that like this. Okay. And then similar to this, when we see a back of an elbow, we're going to trace this circle. Okay. So I'm going to make that this color. We're going to trace what we see here. Okay. But what we're going to do is, instead of a line going halfway through, all we're going to do is we're going to put a dot in there. Okay. And I've had students kind of make this an eyelash, symbolizing that we see in there. Whatever helps you remember it is what I would recommend you do. Okay. So if I was to draw this on the side here, this is what it would look like. Okay. So we have an elbow or something coming towards us, an elbow or something going away from us, and then a side view. And the side view is nice because if you don't see a circle with a line going through it or a circle with a dot, that usually means that you can see most everything. So that is going to be kind of your go-to drawing. Let's go ahead and do the same thing with the T. Okay. So it's very similar. Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and make this pipe. Okay, it's a threaded pipe going into a threaded T fitting. So that would look like this. Except now we have 3 pieces of pipe. Okay, and now we're going to put in our fitting lines. Okay, our fitting line on a side view. Again, there's nothing behind it. Okay, there should be no circles or anything like that because we see everything. It's pipe, T, pipe, pipe. Okay, but we need to put in our fitting lines representing the fitting. So I'm going to go ahead and put in a blue line there, blue line there, and a blue line there. Okay. And this stays with our rule of keeping things parallel. This line right here is horizontal. It's parallel to the pipe it's joining, the 2 pipes it's joining. This fitting line here is joining this pipe. This fitting line is joining this pipe. So vertical, vertical, vertical. Okay. So if I was just to kind of finish this off with the threaded, we want it to look like this. Okay, drawing it off as one drawing, it would just look like this. Okay, why we're trying to do this is we're trying to simplify drawings. This is a lot harder to put on a bunch of drawings as opposed to this. Okay. So the next one we have here is we have this T, except we rotate it. And now this vertical piece over here, we can't see it. It's behind the T. So we can see this. So let's just go ahead and draw what we see. Okay. So this piece of pipe is the exact same as this piece of pipe. Okay. This piece of pipe we still see right here. Okay. But we do not see this piece of pipe. So to tell the viewer that there's something going away from us, okay, we have to put in a symbol. This over here says that there's nothing going away from us, but we have to put in a symbol. It's going to be very similar to our 90. We're just going to put a circle in there. Okay, so we put a circle in here. When we put the line all the way through, that is going to symbolize that it looks like a T. Okay. The last thing we have to do is we still see the 2 parts of the T, the 2 fitting lines. We don't see the third one because it's behind this, but we have to put in our symbols here. Okay, so the only thing that makes sense is we're going to put them vertical. So we're just going to go like this. Okay, so if we were to draw that as one drawing, I would go like this. Okay, and that would symbolize the back of a T. Fairly straightforward. And then the last one here is a threaded T looking at the viewer, and it's very similar to the 90, except we have an additional piece of pipe. Okay, so we're taking this and we're rotating it again, but now we can't see this pipe. We can see the open end of it, but we can't actually see, how long it is or anything. So this pipe and this pipe stay the same. So let's go ahead and draw that. Okay. Got that pipe and that pipe. Okay. And then we have the open end of a pipe. So very similar to the back of an T. We're going to trace that circle again. Except similar to your 90, we have an open end. So we're going to do a circle, but it's going to have a dot. Okay. So circle with a dot, pipe coming towards viewer, circle with a line going through it, something going away from the viewer. Which direction that is depends on which view you're looking at. We still see 2 fitting lines. We can't see this one. I mean, we can kind of see part of it, but if, say, we were standing far enough back, all we would see is this circle with the dot. So we still do see this fitting line, so we have to put that in. And this one, okay? And just to complete that, it would look like that. So to draw that separately, it would be a circle with the dot, and a line going out, and a line going out, and our fitting lines. Okay, so that's the symbols that we're going to be using for a lot of our ortho to iso and iso to ortho stuff. So please, if you have any questions, you can comment or email. Thank you.